Welcome to Lead Like Elon. I'm your host, Tim Hampton. With me is my fellow SpaceX and Tesla enthusiast, Erastus Kipkirui Laboso. Today, Erastus and I will be discussing the controversial acquisition of SolarCity by Tesla. Erastus, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Tim. Looking forward to the conversation.
Me too. So let's set the table a little bit. The SolarCity was founded in 2006 by Elon Musk's cousins by the name of Lyndon Reeve and Peter Reeve, or Rive. I should have looked that up, but I think it's Reeve.
Yeah.
And basically, this was a case of them going to their rich cousin and saying, can you invest some money to get this solar panel company going? And he invested $10 million. And the company actually did quite well. In 2013, they were the top residential installer for solar panels in the US.
Yes.
And then they also did an IPO. So they did an initial public offering that was quite successful. They actually peaked at $88 a share. And I think they were initially sold for, I think, 17 a share or something. So they took quite a ride up. So anyway, let's start at the beginning. What do you think of the idea of Elon Musk investing in a solar panel company back then?
So I think it goes back to the Tesla, the Elon Musk master plan of the future technology that is going to affect the future. So one of them was when you look into the Tesla Secret Master Plan that he published in 2006, the last point was that they are going to get into renewable energy, which basically it means solar energy. So when you look at Elon Musk, the basic idea, I think he was actually the one who told their cousins that there's this brilliant business idea that if you are interested in, you can get into, and he can invest $10 million. So he told them about this amazing solar business idea, and their cousins said, okay, we can start. So he said, okay, I'm going to invest my 10 million. And I think he was the biggest shareholder of SolarCity. And then he joined the board of SolarCity also. So that is now where it's getting a little bit like messy now. The reason why we are in the situation that Elon Musk is in right now, I think starts from there. But when you look at the idea that Elon Musk gave these guys, or actually that the Lyndon and Peter had at the beginning of SolarCity, it was just amazing. It was a brilliant idea. That the issue was that they're going to lease out their solar panels by investing, and make sure that every single person was interested in, or that wanted solar energy, did not pay any down payment for any fee whatsoever. They just sign a paper that they are leasing this one, and then it should be for the next 20 years. And if they are interested after 20 years, then they are going to pay again and continue on that note. But when you look at that idea, it was actually revolutionary or changing in the solar space or solar energy space at that time. And you realize that that is the reason actually it went, I think from 2006 to 2008, they were gaining a lot of people each and every single day, because the model was never there before. And and that is how it started. And the more as time goes by, then they grew and grew and grew. And also the acquisitions that they made throughout the years. I think what people didn't see about SolarCity was the rate at which they acquired other companies during that particular time was really so big. And then as the more they acquired, the more they increased their foothold from California, Fremont, where they had their headquarters, now to the East Coast by acquisitions of these smaller companies. And I think that one gave them the foothold of now becoming, what you said earlier, in 2013, they were the top residential solar installer. So I think that is what built them to that success that they had earlier. But to everything, so when they went to IPOs, when you go to an initial public offering, you are opening up to a lot of scrutiny, and a lot of people are there for, probably others are there to speculate, to just make some money, make some bucks out of speculation, but they don't see the bigger picture that you have. So by 2015, SolarCity has had its own fair challenges. In the beginning of 2016, they had about 15,000 employees. And by July that year, in 2016, they had 12,000 employees. So I think they got into the Wall Street mess, the quarter after quarter after quarter scrutiny after this. Like, I think that is the challenge that that SolarCity faced from early on, was that one. And also its business model of no down payment of any money while you are you get your solar energy or your solar. So I think those are among the few challenges that they faced during that particular time. But when you look into it, the business model was okay. But the only challenge that I personally see they had was Wall Street. It was actually going for the IPO. People didn't understand it, because if you invested like initial, like what they did was they put in all the capital, every single capital. You don't invest anything, but every single month you pay for the energy that is generated. Mm-hmm. So as much as in the initial capital is going to be high, or the capital layout is going to be high, or the capital expenditure is high for SolarCity, it means that they are going to recoup this investment in the next 20 years. But Wall Street looks at these numbers not on discounted, locally future discounted aspect. They look at it like right now they are in 3 billion debt. They're doing this and that. But when you look into it, it's going to be something that is going to generate income going forward. But Wall Street, I think, had an issue with that. And that is now, when you're $8 a share, and then it gets up to like 40 cents or 20, it's going to be so hard. Yeah.
So it's interesting you bring up the business model. The business model was unique. It's basically, we will basically buy your roof, and yes, you pay us for the electricity, is kind of the proposition. And in order to finance that, they had to sell the world's first solar bonds. Yeah. Bonds are basically a package that says, if you buy this, you're giving me money, and then basically you're lending me money in this instrument, and I have to pay you back over time.
Yes.
And the fly in the ointment, another controversial aspect, yes, is that a lot of these bonds, I think the majority of these bonds, were purchased by SpaceX, which is another Elon Musk company.
Yes.
So what's your opinion on that? Is it just that he was the only one aware enough to think the business model had merit, or was he propping up his cousins and his own investment? What's your viewpoint on that?
I think basically there are a lot of things that are intertwined in the SolarCity Elon Musk the whole story, because Elon Musk might have been aware of some of these things, maybe, but he also was in the board of this other company and this other company. So if SpaceX actually bought these bonds because they believed in the future of SolarCity, then that is also another thing. Because if it's SpaceX has its board of directors, and then also Tesla has its board of directors. And if the SpaceX board of directors said, okay, let's go, let's buy these bonds because we believe they're going to be valuable in future, then I think that is okay, because SpaceX bought these bonds in 2013 or 2014. So that time SpaceX was not having challenges like they had in 2008, 2009. They had now started getting revenue. And when you have a lot of money with you, which you are not going to use at the moment, you do what? You have to invest somewhere. And I think if they thought that the right investment for them was getting into putting the money into SolarCity, then that's okay. And so now from that aspect, I'm now not so sure of if Elon Musk was aware or not. But if he was aware about it, and he made the board aware about it, or he made the board bought into this, then I think that that is also another challenge that is now hindering Tesla into 2021, or nearly 6 years after, 4 years after the purchase, or 5 years after the purchase. But I think it's intertwined. I think the bigger problem about the SolarCity, Tesla, SpaceX is the intertwinement of all the companies by Elon Musk. And Elon Musk, you are not going to separate Elon Musk from everything that is happening here. But I think the good thing is the board of directors, not the board actually, they're unaffiliated shareholders actually said, yes, you can continue with this. So I think that is the caveat that removes Elon Musk actually from the whole saga, because if 85% to 90% of the shareholders said, okay, let's go on with this, then I think that should be okay.
Well, I do agree that the vote was in favor, so that to some extent does absolve him. But I don't agree. I can't imagine that the investment in the solar bonds was done without his encouragement. I mean, he runs SpaceX like it's his own company. I know it's privately held, and he's not the owner of the whole company, but I mean, it's his company. He calls the shots there. I can't imagine them funding SolarCity without his aware or even gratitude. Like that was propping up a company he was invested in. And I say invested in two ways. He was invested monetarily, and I think he was invested in the concept. I think that he is I don't doubt for a second he's a true advocate of solar power. It's just too bad this company isn't faring better, because it would be a lot easier to argue that this was also good for the shareholders. But we'll come to that in a minute, because the next step in the saga is that things start to roll over, the company's in trouble. And then as we've been talking a little bit, but just to kind of run sequentially, Elon Musk is still CEO of Tesla. At the time, it was Tesla Motors. And he is at least involved in the discussion, at the end of which the board of directors decides to buy or acquire SolarCity in a stock swap. So, theoretically, a stock swap, it's like if I buy your house by giving you my, it's almost like we're swapping property. So theoretically, if they're well valued, it's a neutral thing. You get as much as I get. Okay. Now, whenever you buy a company completely, you pay a small premium. That happened here as well. I don't think that's all that unusual. The question is, I guess, twofold. One, should Tesla have branched out into solar power? And two, if it intended to, should it have done it by investing in SolarCity, or should it have started something fresh?
So basically, from my end, I think, as you have said earlier, is now getting into 2015. 2015, actually, Tesla started Tesla Energy. And the people that they partnered with, or they were very close with in doing all these selling of Powerwall and the power packs, they were selling these Powerwall and power packs to SolarCity. And SolarCity had all the knowledge on how to install these things and make them work. And if Tesla was to expand, it means they needed people with experience. They needed people with experience in installation, not just installation. Were also experienced in terms of how to finance these projects, in terms of like, now, if it's going to be a loan, if it's going to be leasing, then they need experience. Also, they needed to know the challenges. And during that particular time, the products that Tesla wanted, actually the Tesla Powerwall, also, when you look at the current power pack that Tesla is offering, the energy storage that they are offering Tesla Energy, actually, it was SolarCity that said, okay, we are going to start this, and we want to. Actually, they were the one who did the pilot test, or in 500 homes, for the Powerwall and the power pack. So I think most of these things, people don't really look into it that way. But I think it built the foundation. So instead of Tesla starting from the scratch, starting from zero, and competing with these other solar installation companies, it was a wise decision for them to acquire SolarCity. As much as SolarCity was not in a good financial position at that particular time, it meant that they had the staff that Tesla knew that if we get with these people, if we acquire SolarCity, we are acquiring not just the 3 billion debt that they had at that particular time, but also the people who are working there, the finances that is going to stream in as a result of the acquisition. Because the finances that were going to stream from SolarCity was going to be one after the other. So it was something that was just going to be continuing. But if SolarCity had continued to be to just stand on its own, then the the financial woes for the company would have been going bad and bad and bad, because by then I think there are a lot of people who had done shorting of the SolarCity stock, because they were seeing the situation, the debt management, the number of people who are getting in, or like the competitors, what are they doing and stuff like that one. And they were now more dependent on Tesla's Powerwall in terms of storage of energy and stuff like that one. So if Tesla branched out during that particular time, or actually said we are going to form ours, then SolarCity was going to go bankrupt. No doubt about it. Because earlier there's a certain solar company that went bankrupt a few months earlier. So people were looking at SolarCity, it was headed there, but Tesla actually, I think, bought into Tesla into solar energy business by acquiring SolarCity at a discount. Because if it was $88 the earlier in the year, and by then it was 20, I think 20 something, and then you add the 15 to 17%, no, actually 17 to 30% premium on each shares, or on these shares, then it means that Tesla bought SolarCity at a discounted price, and it was actually the perfect decision for Tesla to do, as they ramp up now and now into and incorporate everything into the Tesla energy. So I think it was a good start for Tesla to get into this side, and also finish the last point of the Tesla master plan, of the first Tesla master plan, secret master plan by Elon Musk in 2006, and pave them way now to go to the next, the part due master plan by Elon Musk. So it was advantageous for Tesla to do this, even though the debt was there. But the debt was something that was just once a one-off. It was one-off basically, and it was going to incur and generate money to Tesla's balance sheet going forward. So yeah.
So let's talk about the product that SolarCity sells right now,
Yes.
or has sold. Apparently, a lot of it, I don't know how many solar panels. SolarCity did manufacture some panels towards the end,
Yes.
but the majority is just off-the-shelf components from other companies. So
yes,
the technology itself is not special.
yes.
But to make solar roofs more appealing, and I would argue to make SolarCity more appealing to Tesla shareholders, Elon Musk made a presentation showing off the new solar tile.
Yes.
Now, he presented this as a huge innovation. It's basically the ability to create a roof that looks like a conventional roof. It's quite durable. It'll last the life of the home, but it's also a solar panel. And well, this apparently is not a brand new idea. The first patent for solar cells that look like regular tile was done by NASA in the 70s. And then Dow tried to make a go of it. Many companies have tried to make a go of the same idea. Tesla seems to be having trouble with that. It's not the huge moneymaker that Elon was presenting it would be. Yes. What are your thoughts on whether it's SolarCity or the part of Tesla that used to be SolarCity? What do you think about their technology? Are you impressed? Are you happy with the direction it's going?
For me, I not so impressed actually, because it has been quite a number of years, and they had promised to deliver this one by, I think, nearly 2020. We are in 2021 and also ongoing. They are facing a lot of challenges by the Tesla solar roof. So the Tesla solar roof was actually, and is still, one brilliant idea that if it works, if it materializes, then it means that Tesla is going to generate a lot of money from this one. Because if you are offered the Tesla, so if you have Tesla solar roof, it means you're going to have Tesla Powerwall, or Tesla Powerwall. So it means it's going to have this impact of increasing revenue to Tesla at the end. But the challenge that they're facing right now, I think, is how are we going to make sure that they can do the Tesla solar roof very well, but the problem now is scaling. The problem is scaling, because by March 2020 they were doing nearly 1,000 roofs a week. which if you look at it there, it's much, but not by a lot. Mm-hmm. So I think the problem now is the scaling aspect of it, because building of roofs is something that is old school. There's nothing you can innovate there. If you have to make a roof, you will have to make a roof. There's no shortcut about that. And I think the challenge is that one. And also the technology itself. How are you going to make the technology work faster, be better than whatever is in the market at the moment, and at a cheaper price? But I think also that at the end of the day, as Tesla Powerwall goes down and the technology for solar improves and iterate, I think the more Tesla iterates its technology and the more the Tesla as Powerwall, the cost decreases, then I think it will make the whole thing cheaper. And if it's cheaper, then people are going to go for it at the end of the day. But I think what they need is further to validate the solar roof technology, which is so hard because they are actually the first one to get in here and want to do it massively as compared to other people. So I think in the long run, it's going to pay. But where Tesla is going to get money will not mostly be from solar roof, from my end, but mostly from energy storage. So energy storage is going to be the big business that Tesla is going to make a lot of money from, other than the solar roof. I think solar roof just will be validating the technology. It's going to act as a great marketing strategy for Tesla. But at the same time, it's going to validate a lot of technologies that are out there. And if Tesla nails the solar roof, brilliant. They're going to take over the solar energy. And if you look at them, at how hard it is, the challenge to have that solar roof is really big. Yeah. It's so huge. But at the end of the day, Tesla has been improving. Elon Musk has been saying, okay, we are doing this. We made a problem here. We made a mistake here, and we are improving on it. And I think that is what is going to bring change to the solar roof business that Tesla is doing. But the energy storage part of Tesla, I think they're doing brilliant there. No, they're doing brilliant on that part. But the part of solar roof, it still needs iteration. So I am going to give it like probably another 3 to 5 years to make sure the technology is working properly and everything is okay. Because if you're going to make tiles which look like ordinary roofing, then it means that the technology has to be perfect. And if the technology is not 100%, it's not perfect, then you'll have to iterate until it works. And I'm going to give them benefit of doubt for now. But as time goes by, that is now when we'll know if the technology is valid or not. So I'm going to give them 2, 3, 4 years, and then we will see from them.
So I want to visit 2 points. One is that one of the reasons it's come to light in testimony by Elon Musk, because he's being sued by a group of shareholders because they're not happy with the decisions surrounding SolarCity. Yes. One of the things he said is that in order to keep the Model 3 ramp, in order to make the Model 3 ramp successful, he had to do what we say sometimes, rob Peter to pay Paul. So he had, two friends, and he owed them both money. He took money from one to pay the other.
Yes.
Which is obviously not a sustainable move, right? But what he did was he took people who were working at SolarCity and said, you need to work to build the Model 3 or help us fix the production line.
Yes.
So one argument, the argument he's making is, I always intended for SolarCity and it to be a component of Tesla, and it didn't succeed because I was in a scramble to make something else succeed.
Yes. Yeah.
What do you think of that argument?
But basically, what I think of that is, so the backbone for Tesla was the Model 3. Without Model 3, there would be no Tesla, basically. So Tesla was the lifeline for Model 3 was the lifeline for Tesla. And if the Model 3 ramping up of the Model 3 was going to fail, then it means basically SolarCity was going to fail. So there would be no SolarCity. And what they just had to do was to reorganize and make sure that the ramping up of the Model 3 is done, which is the best selling Tesla car so far. Mm-hmm. And that has made Tesla to be where it is today. was going to be successful. And if it was at the expense of the SolarCity acquisition or the Tesla energy, then so be it at that particular time. Because at the end of the day, as Tesla or as the Model 3 ramp ups continues, then it means that Tesla is going to get a lot of money, and they can put this money now to use in doing research or in validating the technology of energy storage solutions, and also in the solar roof system. And I think, to me, that was okay. It was perfectly fine, because Elon Musk usually say this. So you need to change when situations changes. You need to change. So Tesla energy was not a priority at that particular time, but Tesla Model 3 was. So I think it was a good way, a good thinking to put that one. And now after the Model 3 has ramped up, the Model Y, as you can see, is ramping up easily because of what they built during that ramp up of the Model 3. So I think Tesla is now poised to greatness from now. I think that is the reason why they've concentrated now on the Tesla energy, or actually the SolarCity acquisition. And if you look at the number of megawatt that has been deployed, the revenue that has been generated from the energy sector from Tesla since 2018, or after the 2018-19, after the ramping up of the Model 3, it has been increasing. And I think it was a great decision by Tesla. And even when you look at it, Tesla was worth how many billion during that particular time, during the ramping up of the Model 3 sedan? It was a less than $50 billion when you value the company. And after that, it now increased exponentially. And I think the decision by Elon Musk, or actually by the Tesla board, to ramp up the Model 3 as compared to Tesla energy was the perfect one for that particular time. And I think now going forward, it's now going to be determined by how are they going to ramp up, how are they going to improve this Tesla energy aspect of Tesla. Yeah.
So one of the other things that Elon Musk said at trial was that residential roofs are harder than they look. As you pointed out, they need to look good, they need to be safe, they need to not catch fire, they need to not be sucked off in a windstorm. Like, there's a lot to it. And also, residential roofs tend to be quite complex. It's part of the look of a building. Even though it'd be more practical to have a simple single peak roof, it looks boring, it looks cheap, and people don't like that. They like complications, like fake dormers, which I hate. But anyway, there's all kinds of detail, and it makes it very difficult to construct a roof out of what you hope. Like, you can't just cut these tiles, you have to tailor make them to meet in the grooves and everything. The other thing is that your yield in terms of electricity production depends on the angle of the roof, not just vertically, but also horizontally. Are you facing south? Are you facing at the right angle? And so I think what he's saying, without intending to say it, is that residential solar is not a great idea. And that's my reaction, that residential solar is not a great idea for two reasons. One, utility scale solar is much cheaper, and I looked it up. Now, unfortunately, the article I found, and I'll put it in the show notes, is from 2015. But they said that it's a long article, but basically they said that utility scale photovoltaic power is 6.6 kilowatts per 6.6 cents per kilowatt hour, to maybe 12 cents a kilowatt hour. Whereas your rooftop solar, your home rooftop, is starting at 12 and ending at 20 cents per kilowatt hour. Now, I get electricity to my home in Ontario, depending on peak, like we have, if it's a busy time for electricity, we pay more than if it's not busy. So I go anywhere from, I think it's 8 cents to 17 cents Canadian. Right. But most of the time I would think my average is around 10 or 12 cents. So I'm getting it cheaper than I would get it from my roof. That's one thing. And the thing is this, and also, what if it breaks? What if there's a storm? What if the person who buys my house doesn't want it? There's all these things, utility grades or utility scale just seems to make so much more sense. Do you want to comment on that? Where do you see that?
Yes, I totally agree with you. I totally agree. That is the reason why I was telling you that what is going to make this one work and efficient for Tesla if the prices, if the technology improves. So if solar technology for these solar roofs decreases, ironically decreases, if it's going to be cheaper for Tesla to make these panels at a cheaper cost, so it means that as you were saying, the kilowatt from kilowatt cost from solar from your rooftop as compared to the one from grid, the difference is that for the rooftop you have to design it, you have to do a lot of things, but for the one for the solar, if you have a solar plant somewhere, just in the middle of somewhere, it's not much to be constructed there. You just place them, make sure they're in the perfect order, and that's it. But for the rooftop view, as you said earlier, you have to place them in a perfect way, in a perfect manner, with a perfect material. So for me, if Tesla validates this technology by making it cheaper and by making it very cheap, then that will be it. But for now, I think it's so hard. And exactly as you say, it's not going to be, he is not saying it plainly that this is hard, but it is so hard if you look at it. But hopefully, I think as time goes by, the same way lithium ion batteries became cheaper and cheaper. I think as time goes by, then probably things will get cheaper and cheaper in terms of roof. And also if they can nail how to roof quickly and cheaply, then I think also that is going to work. But for now, it's not so good.
So the thing is that at the same time that rooftop solar gets cheaper, utility solar gets cheaper as well. Yes. So it's never going to be a purely economic decision. I think it'll be, well, at least my dog won't die of heat if there's a grid outage.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's still nice to be able to keep my food going. And I know that if I have a power wall, I can keep my fridge operating, but only for a day or two or three, depending on how much money I spend. If at least I have some solar, I can keep things going. So I can see that being something that affluent people will want. But I don't think it makes a lot of sense as an economic decision for a lot of households, because electricity is, if Tony Seba is right, and I don't know if you're familiar with Tony Seba's work, but
I'm familiar.
Saying if we have 3 times as much solar panels as we need to run everything, because it gets dark and we have to store electricity, we'll get to the point where electricity is almost free. And then you're really going to regret spending $40,000 on a solar roof.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
So I guess my question is, I still think that there's opportunities for Tesla energy in solar and even wind. For some reason, they're completely oblivious to wind. Yes. Not that I want another boondoggle, but if they come up with the ability to make a lot of solar panels, they could cover every supercharger parking lot with solar. And feed it right into obviously the grid is right there. They could feed it right in. I don't know why I'm flipping. They could put it over all the buildings they have, the parking lots at the buildings they have. Like they have a lot of real estate. Tesla's a big company. So they could make an impact there, but I don't know about this rooftop stuff.
So for me though, I think the future for Tesla energy, and as much as they want to validate the rooftop technology, which is okay and great, but the cost at the moment doesn't allow for a lot of people, as you say, to purchase this one. So I think they would rather concentrate on energy storage business, big scale solar energy, and wind energy storage. So I think storage business is going to be big for Tesla if they concentrate on it, other than the solar roof. But the solar roof also is going to it's also something that if you're going to make the power wall work, or the power pack or the mega pack work, then you basically also need to integrate the solar technology. Because if you are developing these technologies or developing the storage energy storage technologies, then you really need the solar aspect of it for you to test for you to know the strength and the weaknesses of these energy storage systems. In the long run, the Tesla energy is going to be big. And it's, even if you look at them at it right now, Tesla has been deploying few megawatts, and I think about 400 megawatts of solar. But the income that they are generating from storage is a lot of money. It's so you look at the general the revenue for Tesla Energy for 2020, it was 1.99 billion. When you look at that, it's 400 megawatts of deployment of solar. But for energy storage, it's 3 gigawatt hours that they have done. So when you look at the deployments of 400 megawatts versus the energy storage part of 3 gigawatt hours, it shows you where exactly Tesla is headed to. Their strength at the moment is in energy storage. And I think they are only going to use the technology for Powerwall, Powerpack, and solar to just validate these technologies and ensure that if they're going to be at the top of the top game in the solar energy or in the energy business, then they have to still have the solar aspect of it. And I think they're going to use also, as I said earlier, just for marketing strategies. I mean, if you look at a solar roof, you will say, which solar roof is this? It's a Tesla solar roof. So I think they can use this one as part of marketing, which is going to be brilliant, but it doesn't necessarily make them a lot of money the way they get it from energy storage business.
So one other thing I forgot to mention when I was talking about why doesn't Tesla just cover its own property with solar? Yes. One of the distinguishing characteristics of their solar or their power storage, the mega packs that they're deploying around the world, is they tend to be going to hot places, temperature-wise, like very hot temperature that we have in Australia or Hawaii or Puerto Rico or all these places. They tend to be hot, and they have these batteries sitting out in the heat. Yes. Which is not good for a battery. So they probably have to have the fans going full tilt all the time just to keep the insides cool.
Yes.
Why not put a roof over the whole thing and make the roof solar? Why not have all of that stuff in shade? You know, it just makes so much sense, and it would be relatively inexpensive, and you can put power right in to run the fans, right? You don't have to be buying power off the grid all the time. So I don't know. I think there's some capacity there.
Yeah, I think they need to. I think they need to concentrate on these ones, on these. There's this small thing that you're saying that if they concentrate on them at the moment, then they are going to make it. And I think Drew Baglino being given to be the VP of Tesla Energy, I think it means to me that Elon Musk is serious about Tesla Energy. And I believe in Drew Baglino myself. And I think this guy is going to make Tesla Energy as big as the Tesla automotive part, but not immediately, but eventually. So I think the thing that they need to do is, first of all, once the Model Y has ramped up, which is okay at the moment, once the Cybertruck is out, which is okay. But now the next concentration that a lot of people will be looking into Tesla going forward after the Cybertruck has ramped up will be the energy business. How is the energy business going? Because when you look at the valuation of Tesla at the moment, I think it is inclusive of Tesla energy business, which is so far it's still small, but people believe it to be big. So I think as time goes by, people will be asking questions and want these technologies to validate it. How is this business coming on? As this one increases, how about the other one? So I think Tesla and Elon Musk should really concentrate on this going forward. And as you say, tiny things like the one that you're saying, because I was looking at these batteries and they are just open. As you're saying, they're open. The heat is up there, but I think also the advantage that they do have is one that is they have the best, or actually the best in the industry, cooling technology. Agreed. So I think that is what makes them actually do that at the moment, because they have the best cooling technology. But in the long run, I think they are going to do that. And as you were saying earlier in the earlier recording that we did, was about the Tesla a restaurant chains that they were going to make. I think if they can make Tesla restaurant chain, then I think the best thing that they're going to do is now put the solar energy, so solar roofs on these and stuff like that one. But that is now in the future.
So the last story I want to bring up, and I don't know if there's other stories you want to add, but the last story is that in July 2021, so this month, there was an announcement that Tesla is going to work with a developer in Austin, Texas, to equip a new subdivision with solar roofs, which addresses a couple of the problems that we have. One is that that existing roofs are not designed for solar, so they may not be able to take the weight, they may not be oriented correctly. This is something that they can do. They can plan ahead and they can optimize it for the solar. It also means that it's a bit of a mass production thing, which we know Tesla likes to do. It likes to do things in big scale.
Yes.
But I also think it may be a bit of a diversion because of the timing. It's during the trial. And two, it's only a dozen homes. So the headline is interesting, but it's like it's like probably less than the amount of money they spend on toilet paper at Tesla. It's not a significant thing. And yet, so I wonder if it's just a signal that says, hey, we're going to do it. Because I actually think that might work. New subdivisions that you can plan around the solar, angles and build the roofs accordingly. That kind of makes sense.
It does make sense. It does make sense that way, though. But I think what Tesla is trying to do, as you said, is to validate this technology. Because if you are going to scale them, how good are you going to scale? So until you know the details of these in the smaller scale, bigger scale, so in a smaller scale, until you are perfectly sure that this can work. And I think the problem that they did with the solar roof was they ramped up the solar roof technology before they validated it very well. And if they're going to focus on the amount of homes that they are doing the pilot program in Austin, then I think if it's going to work eventually, then that's okay. But I think, as you said, it might be a ploy to just cover it up at the moment and say, oh, we are working on something at Tesla Energy for now. But in reality, the concentration they're having is now to concentrate on ramping up of the Model Y, build the Gigafactory in Texas, in Austin, Texas, and also the one in Berlin. But they just want to keep people busy to look at something new in the Tesla Energy business, which I think right now they're concentrating mostly on the solar, on the energy storage business, and that should be it. Because I think if you are going to go and for the year 2020, you deployed 400 more, I think just a little bit more than 400 megawatts of solar deployments, then it means something is wrong. And they're not saying, okay, we are going to do this way and this way. No, they're not giving any additional, like they're saying right now, I think Elon Musk even said during the trial that we have about 80,000 orders of Powerwall, and they cannot produce these ones because of the global chip shortage.
Yeah.
And that is the hardest part. If the global chip shortage, is it going to affect Tesla Energy? Which is okay, it's going to affect the Tesla Solar Energy. But I think also it's just that it's in a convenient time for Tesla to continue with the other thing, to say, okay, we are having a challenge here because of global chip shortage. But is it really a global chip shortage? We don't know. Maybe they are buying time also. So I think, as we said together earlier, or actually what we said is, until they validate this technology, it's going to be hard. They just be saying, okay, we're doing this, we're trying this. And time is running out. Investors know that Tesla Energy can be bigger. And if you cannot increase sales or actually revenue in the Tesla Energy in the next 3-4 years, then it's going to affect the Tesla business.
So let's start talking predictions.
Yes.
Okay. Let's say it's 2021 right now. Let's say it's 2025. My prediction is that they're going to pivot to utility scale, that it's going to be this idea that you should buy a funny looking solar roof and a power wall. That's going to be for rich people only because they want the security. That what they're going to get into. I think it's a trifecta. I think it's three things.
Yes.
They're going to buy big places like big patches of dirt, and they're going to put solar panels. They're going to put power packs. They're also going to be mining for cryptocurrency. Yes. Because you may as well make money while the sun's shining, right? I think that's something because he's already hinting that he's talking to people about ecologically sensitive cryptocurrency. And you can we're reaching a point in history where money and energy flow back and forth. You can make one out of the other, which is a very interesting time. It's almost like the money is the battery, right?
Yes.
So I think that's my bet. What do you think of that?
I think you're perfectly right there. You're perfectly right in terms of so the future. First of all, by 2025, cryptocurrency is going to improve. It's going to increase. Adoption is going to increase definitely for cryptocurrency. And now it won't be just the adoption of cryptocurrency. It will be what kind of energy are they using? Is it clean energy or is it the dirty energy, if I can put it that way? So Tesla, for me, by 2025, as you said, should be pitching the energy storage on the grid owners like PG&E, these big electricity suppliers. That if they can do that, they're going to make billions, which is okay. They're going to make billions at the end of the day. But now another thing that I'm seeing in the next 5 years would be they will have cheaper solar and cheaper energy storage solutions. The reason is the development. I think within the next 5 years they will have a new kind of technology for Tesla energy, because most of the technologies that we are seeing now at Tesla Energy was for way back in 2015. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen any invention from Tesla over the years. It's just been improving on the technology that they had from 2015. So I think there should be something new that is going to come out of Tesla business. And that is what I'm looking forward to. And then another thing should be the vehicle to grid technology. I think will be something else that is going to come out also. Yeah. So the vehicle to grid will be something that is going to probably by 2025 it should be taking shape. It shouldn't actually be happening, but it should be taking shape. And I think that will also be another thing, because the more Tesla vehicles that we have out there, people can use that one as an energy storage and use them in their house if they can. So I think those are among the things that can happen that I can see.
So let me explore that with you, because I'm not 100% convinced that vehicle to grid is going to be that important for a couple of reasons.
Yes.
One is, if I have a 100 kilowatt hour battery in my Tesla Model 3, I think that's even bigger than the biggest one you can get. But let's say it's
70,
a Model S. Okay, so I got 100 kilowatt hours. That is worth $10 of electricity. It's not a lot of it's not like and when would I use it? I wouldn't use it to arbitrate, to do arbitrage between, because I told you in Canada we have it's expensive and then it's cheap electricity. I could store when it's cheap and sell it back when it's expensive, but then I'm degrading the battery in my car. Right?
Yeah, that is also another challenge. Yes.
So that's costing me money. And then also I run the hopefully trivial risk of causing a fire. Right?
Yes.
It's not impossible in my house. Yes. But then the other thing is, if the grid collapses, depending on the nature of the collapse, I might want to get in my car and go somewhere where the grid is okay. In which case I want a full battery. Right?
Yeah, I get that.
I don't know what is the use case. How would I be convinced to sell electricity back into the grid?
I think though mostly it should be like the vehicle to grid technology should be okay, but I don't really see a big use case on that per se. But if you can have energy, if you can use the power that you have in your vehicle in your household, I think the most important thing should be in your household. If you can connect your battery that you have in your car to your house to use in your house instead of having a different power wall. So because power wall, actually Elon Musk, power wall going forward will have to be purchased with solar roof. So if you don't have a solar roof, you're not going to get a power wall. So if you can use the battery that you have in your vehicle or in your Model S and use it in your household when you can, or when you don't have power, or to make it cheaper, then I think that should be okay. But in terms of vehicle to grid, it's going to be, I think if they can validate that technology, but which I think they will not, in the next probably 6 to probably 7 years, then they can't. But if they can make sure that you can use the power that you have in your vehicle within your house, then I think that should be okay, because you will be saving on during that particular time that it's expensive by using the battery that you have in your vehicle. When it's cheaper, you can charge your vehicle, and then tomorrow you're good to go. But now the aspect is how many people are going to use these ones, which is so hard to know at the moment, because even the technology is not validated. But I think Elon Musk is very serious in the vehicle to grid technology. And I think the degradation of the battery can be dealt with once the different battery invention that Tesla is working on. If you can have a good like dry electrode for battery storage, then put in a Tesla vehicle, then I think that will be okay in terms of degradation. But at the moment, the lithium-ion battery, I think it's just a little bit. You'll never know. You'll be degrading your battery and also having a possibility of it exploding or something, which is so hard, but it's not impossible. But if they can get another battery technology that they can use in terms of on Tesla vehicles, like this solid state battery technology, then I think that can work slightly. Because if I have my vehicle, if my vehicle can power my house, then I don't really think I have a problem without me having a power wall or an extra to have extra money to have a power wall. I think that should be no brainer to any Tesla owner that is out there.
Well, I think for people who are lucky enough to have a second home, like a cottage, like I can imagine somebody in Canada, they might have some solar, but then that doesn't help them overnight. And you may not want to invest in a power wall at your cottage. That seems indulgent when you're only there for a month of the year. But you drive up there in your Model S, you plug it in, and it runs your lights at night. I can see that being, a handy thing. I'm not saying it would never be useful. I'm just thinking that as a massive adoption,
it can't.
Seeing it. I want to pick up on another theme you raised, and that is bundling. Tesla is now bundling Powerwall with the solar roof, which is an odd move for a company that constantly claims it's not demand constrained, it's product constrained, which is to say we can't make it fast enough. If they can't make it fast enough, why are they forcing people to buy both?
I think the reason they are buying both is I think that the pressure is actually about to come. So they're looking into 2023, 2025. What would be the demand? Because right now, if they have 80,000 backlogs of Powerwall, it means that going forward, if they're going to generate or actually to produce in each quarter about 30,000 or 30 to 40,000 Powerwalls per quarter, it means that currently for the next 1 year, Tesla will not be able to produce Powerwall for people who need Powerwall, not unless you are bundling it with solar. So if you're bundling it with solar, and so the solar system, then you can easily get it, because I don't think a lot of people have or actually want the solar roof at the moment. So they have to bundle this one now with the Powerwall, so that they're saying, okay, if you want the Powerwall quickly, you can buy solar, and then we are coming to install it as quickly as possible. But I think mostly it's about the production, the ramping up, the demand for solar from Tesla at the moment is kind of low as compared to Powerwalls. And I think they're saying that, okay, if about, let us say, 1,000 people are ordering per week, are ordering Powerwalls, and we have like probably 20 or 30 solar installation orders, then how are we going to improve the people who are buying Powerwall to buy also solar? And I think they're just making people make the decision to either buy solar, Tesla solar, or you don't have the Powerwall. And I think they're just trying to make it hard for people to order Powerwall if you are not ordering any Tesla product.
It might be a way to throttle demand. It might also be a recognition that if you're going to pay an electrician to be on site for one or the other, this way you can have them. They probably are at the point where, I don't know if in this version, but in some version in the future, you can imagine them plugging the solar directly into the battery. It doesn't go through the household circuit panel, the breaker panel. It goes directly in, and then you can manage it and monitor it all from one component. So I can see some logic to that.
Yeah.
Let's final prediction. How badly is Elon going to lose this lawsuit?
No, I think if he loses the lawsuit, then I think it's also a gain to everyone, because if you are a shareholder for Tesla at the moment, you're going to gain. If you have been a Tesla shareholder from 2015, 2016, you have gained your money nearly 10x or 15x from that period of time. So either way, Elon Musk is worth 170 billion. So if 2 billion or 3 billion is just to, you can just say, okay, I have 3 billion. We are done with this thing. Are you satisfied? We can move on to the next thing. I think what the case needs to be concluded as quickly as possible, so that Elon Musk can deal with urgent issues that Tesla is facing at the moment. And if it's about paying, okay, let him pay. If Tesla is going to pay, then let Tesla pay. I don't think Tesla is in a cash crunch position at the moment that they cannot afford to pay. Mm-hmm. So I think either way, it's a win for Tesla shareholders if you're a shareholder. And this Elon Musk will still be CEO even if that happens. I don't think he's going anywhere. And that's it. I don't think anyone will lose. But if if Elon Musk loses, which I think it might be the case, but if he loses, then we all win, and also Elon Musk wins, because once the case is done, now people can now concentrate on other things, like a lot of things that Elon Musk can concentrate on other than going to court for nothing. But I think publicity also from the case is going to help Tesla in terms of marketing also. So I don't think it's going to be so much of a bad thing altogether, even though it's going to hit on the PR aspect of Tesla. But it's normal for Tesla. It's normal. It's normal. A lot of people say bad things about Tesla every single week, every single day. So I don't think one lawsuit is going to be worse than all what have Tesla been through all those years. So either way, it's a win. It's a win-win situation for everyone.
You know, I wouldn't start a channel called Lead Like Elon if I wasn't a fan.
Yes.
But I do find it at least looks like he was taking care of his cousins and taking care of his own financial interests more than he was looking after the mission and the financial health of Tesla. It's not a good look.
Yes.
And I don't think he'll view it as a good thing if he loses this case. I don't think he'll be happy. My suspicion is he's going to take a hefty fine, but nothing like what the plaintiffs want. That's going to be some sort of Solomon-like decision down the middle. And I think that's a good thing, because it might encourage Elon to keep things going a little straighter. But I also think that we're talking about an Elon from 5 years ago who was under so much financial pressure and trying to keep all his babies alive. He's not willing to do Sophie's choice. He will take, instead of letting one kid live and the other one die, he'll take a kidney out of one and put it in the other. Yes. And he doesn't even know that one of them's adopted, none under his authority. Like, he still views them as his children. And I think he was taking steps that weren't very well thought out.
Yes.
Will he find himself in that situation again? He's always got to push it to the limit. So I'm hoping that the lesson he'll learn is don't do things that look bad. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Everybody, when you're the underdog, you feel like you can cheat a little bit. And he's got to realize he's not an underdog anymore. He's either the richest or the second richest person in the world.
Yes.
So I'm hoping this is a warning shot, and that he'll just focus on what he himself says. He would rather be an engineer than a CEO.
Yeah.
So, maybe create a circumstance where you can have at least the financial decisions run through the board more.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. I also think, as you said, that probably there was something, but at the end of the day, though, also, the problem is the intertwining of all these companies and also the vision for Tesla from 2006. Tesla Energy had also started in 2015. So I think it's going to be it's going to be a thin line between whether he was involved or not, because it's not like 100% sure that he was involved, like he was trying to bail out their cousins or something.
Yeah.
But at the same time, also, was it a good fit? The question is, was Tesla a purchase of SolarCity worth it? And if it was worth it, because if you look at when SolarCity, the last year for SolarCity, they generated about 730 something million per year before they're being acquired by Tesla. But at the moment, Tesla is making 1.99 billion or nearly $2 billion a year. Which was it worth it? And I think to me it was worth it. And if the purchase was worth it, or if that is what Tesla needed for them to increase the stakes of Tesla Energy, then it was successful to me. If you can generate 730 before you acquire, and then after acquiring you make 2 billion in 5 years, then I think that was okay. And also the money that SolarCity had in the bottom line, they're still coming. Tesla is still enjoying. Tesla is just generating this money. So at the end of the day, I don't think anyone actually lost money, except probably for the people who were shorting SolarCity at that particular time, that they had to buy back their shares at a higher price because of the announcement of the purchase by Tesla. So I think it's a very thin line. But if it's also, if Elon Musk can take the responsibility, if he can be fined, then at the moment I can say, okay, fine, it's fine. He has about 165 billion to 170 billion. He can, if Tesla shares moves by a percentage, by like 10% or 20%, he can make back all that money in a single bit. And I think if Elon Musk is fined, then I think Tesla shares are going to rise even to compensate because that. I don't really think, because it's done. I think making it over, I think should be okay. And also it's going to, if Elon Musk also loses this case, then his main focus will be on Tesla Energy going forward. So expect,
want to prove everybody right, or him right, himself right.
Yeah. So expect a very, very Elon Musk who is now concentrating on Tesla Energy, nearly a whole percentage of his Tesla time, and he will ensure that Drew Baglino works harder than any single person in Tesla at the moment. If he loses that, then
win or lose, I think that's going to happen. You're right.
He better lose if it's going to make Tesla Energy more successful. Then it will be happy. I think it's a happy ending for everyone at the end of the case.
So let me read a quote from Elon Musk's appearance in court. Yeah. At the time, I thought it made strategic sense for Tesla and SolarCity to combine. Hindsight is 2020. And if I could wind back the clock, I would probably have let SolarCity execute by itself, would have let Tesla execute by itself. I raise this quote because it's an interesting, I think, accidental admission that basically it was his decision. He may have left the room and said, you guys decide. But he already told them what he wanted the decision to be.
Yeah, true.
So he made himself vulnerable there. Anyway, I think we can wish him luck, and we can certainly wish Tesla luck.
It's okay. I think for me, it's good. The end of the case will be great for Tesla. It will be great for Elon. he would have learned his lesson. And I think the best way he can learn his lesson is losing. And if he lose the case, then it's perfect. I don't think it's a big deal for him also, and also for Tesla, because if you look at the board of directors for Tesla, they took responsibility earlier. They said, okay, we have insurance. Insurance can pay this amount, $65 million, and this case can be over. We can get over with this case as quickly as possible.
And that's what a board is for.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for Elon Musk, I think he extended this one because he thought that probably maybe he will not be found to be part of anything. But it's also okay. I think Elon Musk has done a lot for Tesla for the past 6 years. Even if he made a mistake during that particular time, he wouldn't be judged so harshly for that.
Yeah, there are some people who are saying that every dollar he made with the Tesla shares he received instead of his SolarCity shares,
yes,
are ill-gotten gains. Well, where do you think all that gotten gains came from? It was him driving the companies to success. So I think it won't be, even if he loses, he won't be anywhere near that amount of money, the amount of money that he made on the SolarCity shares that became Tesla shares, that became more valuable Tesla shares. That to me that would be unjust.
Yes, because
he's the reason it went up so much.
Yes, the percentage that Elon Musk had for Tesla, for SolarCity, was 21%. So if it was 21% of the 2.6 billion in changes of shares, then up to now, as you said, it's a lot of money. And I also think that the shareholders that got these shares, they have also increased their wealth so much. I think by the time they filed for the case, they thought that because during the announcement, Tesla shares actually lost up to 15% in that particular day, and people were mad. While SolarCity gained about 15%, the shorts were banned. So it's so people were not happy either way. It was either you are happy or you're not happy. Even the diehard Tesla shareholders during that particular time, they had mixed reactions of the purchase because they didn't see the vision so clearly. But if you ask them right now in 2020, 2021, whether it was the perfect purchase or it was good, then I think even a person who was saying it was a bad decision during that time can say, okay, it doesn't turn out so bad. So I think it was good. It was a good one. So for Elon Musk, I think Elon Musk can get away with a lot of things. One of them is this one, because he has gone through a lot. So I don't think even if he's told to pay 5 billion or 10 billion, it's going to be so big of a deal that people are going, Elon Musk is going to be to go bankrupt. But no, he's worth a lot of money now. And I think that is what gives him even more confidence. He can build nearly about even 20 gigafactories alone with his money. Alone, not even with Tesla's money. He can build the gigafactory. He can get out of Tesla today and build another company and build other companies quite easily. So I think he doesn't really have so much to lose. And if he had anything to lose, he would have let his lawyers talk it out, talk the case out. But if he can appear himself personally there, then I think it's something it's like saying, okay, I don't even care. If I lose, I lose. If I win, I win.
We'll see. Anyway, yes. Thank you so much, Erastus. This was a very interesting conversation.
Thanks so much, Tim. Always a pleasure being here. And it's an eye-opening experience every time.
For me as well. My guest today was Erastus Kipkirui Laboso. Erastus's LinkedIn address will be in the show notes. My name is Tim Hampton, and you can reach me at tim@leadlikeelon.com. Please subscribe and join me for the next show on how to lead like Elon.